truly humbled by the opportunity again to come and business community and of course our council. Again, as our mayor said, to better help with the quality of life of this community, and I look forward to meeting those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, and working really hard to take this community to another level. And again, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you again, council, for the opportunity. I also would like to just quickly introduce my mother, who's joined me today, and Maria. My mom can stand if you guys can give her a round of applause. And my kids can fill up the whole council chambers here. Okay. So I didn't bring them all because one of my daughters is actually receiving one of the highest awards of her school. And so mom's with my other daughter, Giovanna, and my other daughter is in Spain right now studying. But I did bring Citlali, if Citlali can stand. My twins, Yatsiri and Yatsil, if you can both stand. And then lastly, Marco, my other son. So if you don't mind, we could take a photo with the family up here. Okay. So if you guys can all come up, si pueden venir para acá, mamá, para tomar una foto. I want to make sure that I keep these guys involved and understand the hard work and the importance of this particular duty, and also memorialize. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you. Welcome aboard. Next, we'll move on to come on up and take your seat, Jose. Next, item 2, we'll have introduction of new police officers, Robert Hazelwood and Stephen Garcia, by Chief Ruben Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor and members of Council. Good evening, members of the community, family, friends, and colleagues from Livingston PD. It's a great honor to introduce two of our newest officers today and then swear them in. About 4 months ago, we had our 3 newest officers finish up or get sworn in. They just finished up the training program. So right now we were at full staff, except we had one officer that decided he might want to go to another department, and so we had a vacancy. But guess what? We found somebody to fill the vacancy quickly before some other department filled that vacancy, and so we're just proud to welcome them to the department and introduce them. And before I start, I'd like to talk a little bit about Livingston. You know, a lot of times when I first got hired, and by the way, our city manager here was the one who hired me 5 years ago, so I want to thank you for that, and I also want to thank you for coming back because that seat was real hot. So, 5 years ago when I got the job here, I told people, hey, I'm going to Livingston, California. And they like, hey, great. Where's Livingston at? And so I know a lot of folks might not be familiar with Livingston, but rest assured, it's a great community. I've been here for 5 years. We are the sweet potato capital of the world. We have Foster Farms here, and we've got just an excellent police department with some good folks. Keep our community safe. I just want to thank them for the job that they do. But a little history, if you didn't know. In 1862, the first settler was named David Baldwin Chetster, and he was a wagon master, and he was the first settler here in 1862. Mind you, 1862 was just the start of the Civil War, so that's how long ago it was. And that was a long time ago. And since then, we've had a few residents come here. One of them was Edward Olds, and he was one of the folks working on the railroad, and he started a saloon along the Merced River. You guys aren't aware, the Merced River actually runs on the backside of Livingston here, same Merced River that comes to Yosemite, and he had a saloon there. The first part of the city was actually not part of the city. It was basically a train stop called Cressy, and hence they had the road Livingston Cressy on the north side of town, but it was actually just a train stop. And later on we'll talk about the Ace train, trying to get the Ace train to stop here and follow a historic stop. One of the first residents here tried to persuade the county to make Livingston the capital here in Merced. He actually laid out 80 blocks on paper and said, hey, I want to make this the capital of Merced. And he actually offered to sell plots for $1. And they're basically 125 feet by 25 feet. I don't think that it would go for the same price today, but it was $1 if the county voted for Livingston to be the county seat. Unfortunately, it lost. And so the city became a city. Initially, they wanted to name Livingston after the pioneer that was lost in Africa, Dr. Livingston. And somewhere through the process, they lost the E. And so they went from Livingstone to Livingston, hence we are Livingston. We as a city were founded in 1922. We go way back. Our first police chief was Horace Gilbert. And the officers started here with green uniforms, and they had no shoulder patches. They didn't come until 1960, but they did have a shield. And we've actually seen some old footage of Horace Gilbert and some other department members from way back when. And I would invite you to take a visit to our historical museum, which is across the street. It's open on Sundays, and they've got some great displays of history here in Livingston. Another famous fact we have here is Bill Dalton of the famous Dalton Gang. He was actually trying to hide out. The Kansas law enforcement authorities wanted him, so he came out to Livingston, and he found a young lady, and he got married, and he stayed here. But he was one of those famous guys from way back when. When the department first started in 1922, Prohibition was in full swing. So many of the officers were enforcing those type of laws: prohibition, vagrancy, peddling, gambling. A lot of those laws that aren't in the books today. And we've actually got a couple of history books that talk about those folks that are arrested from 1922 all the way up until 1960. And we were able to go back and see some of the history from way back when. So I'm just proud to introduce our two newest officers. I guarantee they probably won't be enforcing any prohibition or vagrancy laws here, but they will be keeping our community safe. So first, I'd like to introduce Officer Stephen Garcia, badge L27. If you can come up here, Stephen. A little bio on Stephen. Stephen grew up in Anaheim, California, and lived there for 36 years. And being in Anaheim, I'm sure you probably visited that Magic Kingdom down there a few times, huh? In fact, you probably might be one of the characters down there when I was there. So he graduated from Western High School and received an associate's degree in criminal justice from Golden West College in Huntington Beach. And he is currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in business. Stephen later served in the United States Marine Corps from 1985 to 1992 as a helicopter power plants mechanic stationed in Tustin, California. Thank you for your service. Stephen developed a skill in electronics, and he worked for electronics for telecommunications device companies in Newport Beach and Irvine, California. He left Orange County in 2004 to work for the Monterey County Sheriff's Office as a deputy sheriff for 2 years, and in 2006 he went on to work for Porterville Police Department. And I'll just let you know, Porterville, we're very close to Porterville. Porterville also has a Foster Farms down there, but also our Explorer Post and the Porterville Explorer Post work hand in hand for every event down at Pebble Beach. So we're working with those folks, and Stephen's going to be a good fit for that. 2015, Stephen moved to Merced County, where he currently resides, and is employed by the Delta Track as a manufacturing engineer, technical services manager. And since that time, and just a little promo here, Delta Track is a leading innovator of cold chain management and temperature monitoring solutions. Now, I don't know what he does, but if you keep things cold, we've got an evidence refrigerator over at the PD, and if it breaks down, I know who to call. Stephen is joined here by his fiancée, Elizabeth Avalos, who will be presenting him with his badge. And he has a total of 5 children, ranging in ages from 8 to 30. A little competition, yeah. A couple more to catch up. And I hope you know both officers today will be in suit. Normally they're in uniform to pin the badge on, but today their loved ones will present the badge to them, and we'll take a few photos. We wanted to get these guys as quickly as possible. So with that, I'll let Stephen Garcia. Next, we have Officer Robert Hazelwood, badge L12. And Robert will be filling the vacancy that was created from the officer leaving. Robert grew up in Union City and later moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where he graduated from Trinity Catholic High School. And while at high school, Robert played ice hockey, and he continues to play ice hockey today and is also a referee in the game. After high school, Robert attended Chabot College in Hayward, where he received his associate's degree in administrative justice. And shortly thereafter, went to work for the Highway Patrol. And I'll tell you right now, I think you look better in blues than tans. So, attending tonight's ceremony are the grandparents, Phil and Phyllis, his parents, Dave and Marina, his brother, Dave and Mallory, and his wife, Jenna, with his kids, Ryan and Audrey. And I'll have Jenna in a few minutes here come up and we'll present his badge to him. And so I'd like to invite our mayor to come out and do the oath of office. And one thing I was going to mention too, after the oath, they're going to be presented with the badges, but also one of the things that's tradition is I like to present them with one of our challenge coins. It's basically a coin to remind us on who we are as officers, and it's got our patch on one side, and it's got our badge on the other side, and it has the 3 values that we hold as officers: courage, integrity, and compassion. So we'll present that to you as well after the swearing. There.
All right, thank you, Chief. I forgot to thank you for your services as city manager, so thank you for that. I know it's kind of got voluntold, but thank you for your service. We appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, you could raise your right hand, please. And when I say I, state your name and then repeat after me. I do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. All right, congratulations. I present Officer Robert Hazelwood and Officer Stephen Garcia. Welcome to the family of Livingston. After this, we'll take a few minutes, take a break, get some pictures, and all right.
Thank you, Darren. Here's your challenge coin, and then if I can have Elizabeth Avalos is Stephen's fiance, if I can have her come up, and also in attendance is his fiance's mother, Ms. Avalos, and then Robert, here's your coin. And then Jenna, if I can have Jenna come up. All right, if you want to present the badges to your loved ones, and if you can, the officers maybe we'll grab a quick picture if they can put them onto your lapels. By all means, if anybody wants to come up, please come up and take pictures. We're a big family here, so please come up and take a picture. And I'm very proud to introduce the officers, the newest officers for the Livingston Police Department, Officer Stephen Garcia and Officer Robert Hazelwood. And I'm really excited because they come with a lot of experience. Again, thank you. As soon as we're done here, we're going to take a few minutes, I believe, and we'll take a few pictures with the elected officials and our. I don't know if our city attorney wants to jump in there as well. He's really a good guy. So we'll take a few minutes, come up and take pictures, and then we'll continue on in a few minutes.
All right, we'll be returning back from our break. All right, we'll be going back into session from our break and changes to the agenda. We'll be moving item 10 next. Any objections, council? Jackie, we'll be moving item 10 next.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. I'm pretty excited. As you know, we have gone out at your direction for the Recreation Commission. We received 7 applications back. Very qualified folks with a passion for recreation and a love for Livingston. And as you can see in your staff report, the department recommendation is that all 7 applicants would be, I recommend that we appoint all 7. And at our discussion here, it's your pleasure, of course. So in 2015, that was the last rec commission that went through, and then we had a really hard time recruiting. We had 3 that applied, and then it just it didn't seem that there was an interest. So we went out again, and by the deadline we had 7. So what I have done is, if they're appointed, I do need to have a resolution with their appointments. So we can actually go through, and you can meet the ones that are here. And if you choose to appoint them tonight, we actually can put it on the next agenda under consent, and we can hopefully start our first meeting June 22nd. So as you know, tonight is 8th grade graduation. It's also one of our applicants' last baseball game. And then one of our applicants coaches 2 teams, and they're all at her house right now. So she's texting, she goes, I thought they were supposed to be here by now so that my husband, So anyway, she's not here, that's Linda. So I would like to, I have some here tonight if you have any questions for them. Maybe it would be good if they just came up and said their name and introduce themselves to you. And Alexandra Karen Frost, she is a longtime resident. She played in our program. And actually, Karina Domingo, she texted me this afternoon and said they're moving to Ohio. And so Alex has shown an interest in wanting to be a part of the rec commission. So I'm going to let her introduce herself to you all tonight too, and we can decide what we need to do for her.
Hello, I'm a longtime resident. I think I'm the third generation. My daughter's the 4th generation in Livingston, class of 08. Went to Merced College for a few years, joined the Army, served 4 years, and back home, and have my little 2-year-old daughter for tomorrow. I plan on letting her grow up in the same community I did. I love it. I remember when I was 18, I was trying to hurry up and get out of here. I wanted to leave Merced County. I wanted to get out of the small town life, and then as soon as I got into the Army, I went to Korea, and I was like, oh, I'm coming back. So here I am, and I would be very honored and helpful to the Recreation Department. Because like Jackie said, I did cheerleading in the community, I did softball, whatever. So my heart and soul is in this. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Eric Aguilar. I have also been here in the community for a very long time. I've been overall, what I know. I've been a couple of places, but this is where I've grown up. I was born in Merced County, and I've been living here for over 36 years now. I graduated from Livingston High School, and after that I attended CSU Stanislaus and got my BA in psychology. Now I got my master's in educational counseling. I also have my young family. I have a 4-year-old and a 15-month-old, and I plan to raise them here and make them be part of the recreation programs that we offer here in Livingston, the Livingston has to offer. And I want to continue to raise them here because I felt like I was successful here, so I was continue that. And I also I played recreational sports when I was growing up, and I continue to play recreational softball, adult softball here, and I want to continue to contribute to the community in whatever way I can possible to make it easier for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric Garcia. I've been a resident of Livingston for 39 years. My wife is Doris Garcia. I have 3 children, Jessica, Daniela, and Miley. I've been married for 20 years. I worked at UPS there in Merced, for 15 years. I plan on retiring there and another maybe 15 or 20 years. I've been a part of Livingston. I came up through the youth program, and my dad was part of the football program for about 12 years, the Livingston Vikings. So I learned a little bit of how to communicate with people and to help young kids develop themselves, believe in themselves, and pretty much my dad helped me for those years. And after that, I started coaching in the Jackie, youth softball, baseball, participating in the basketball, and just recently I was able to coach three years at the freshman level here at our high school. It was a great experience to work with some of the freshmen. I believe that the freshmen in our community, if you catch them early enough, they have the will to change. I believe once they get to their sophomore year, it takes a lot more work, what I consider a lot of change in them by their sophomore year. I was able to change a lot of kids' lives just in the 3 years I was there. I was able to help a lot of kids. I seen them graduate. I seen one kid in mine, his name is Randeep Rajasasi, I believe his name is. He was a freshman of mine, and he had some trouble. His freshman, sophomore year, I was able to hook him a little bit, then I lost him. Is just graduated, and I was able to come back into his life the way I met him his freshman year, even though we had some falling out. And going back to meeting kids when they're young, if we catch them early, I think we could make a huge change in their life, and everything else will trickle down into Livingston. So other than that, this is my first time being at a meeting, my first time part of a city function, so I'm going to take it easy, get my feet wet first, and other than that, we're here for the long haul. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maria Gutierrez. I'm a resident for about 15 years on and off, Winton, Merced, back here. I'm a mother of four girls. My oldest two are college, and I have two little ones, soon to be 7th and 6th. I've also coached for the city. Right now, I'm currently the troop leader for troop number 984 here in Livingston, Girl Scouts, and this is our second year. So if you purchase cookies, you purchase them from us. We're the cookie girls. We've tried to touch all parts of the community. We've been here and there, knocking on doors. Just putting us as Girl Scouts out there. I also have a group of mothers that we come together once a month, and we call it our Saturday morning coffee on the first Saturday of each month. The 18 mothers come together and we plan what's the next community event or what we want to do next. So our group is a strong group. We're not affiliated with Girl Scouts, but we like to do this because we want to do it for our community. It's the mothers, well, we do things like that too. But I've lived in the community for over 15 years. I have a BA in Liberal Studies with a concentration in bilingual, bicultural, emphasis in Spanish. That's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else. So nice to meet you.
So you can see why I'm excited to get going. It's great bunch of people. So with that, I just need direction from you as to how to proceed.
I'm going to open up to any public comment. Okay, no public comment. We'll bring it back to council, but before that, just want to make a few comments also. I'm excited that we have people, especially that went through the program, coming back and wanting to give back to the community. And if you've never coached, it's hard work, but it's really, really rewarding. I've coached, and when I first got into it, I'm like, man, what did I get myself into? But the kids grow on you, and I just find myself going back and coaching back, and just like Eric mentioned, you give back and you try and catch the kids early and give them direction to become, prominent members of the community. And I've always said this: great kids make a great community. So thank you. Do we have any comments or direction, Council?
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm glad when I first came into the council, I felt that there was a need for more involvement from the community. So I'm glad that 7 applicants, came forth. I've read all their applications. They're all very committed to the community, motivated. So I'm glad to see that. I agree with you. I would like to see all 7 of them be appointed to the commission.
Okay, to me, I'm very excited that we are reactivating the Recreation Commission or the committee, and I know just about everybody that came up. I know them, I've seen them. They've been members of the community for a long time. I can't think of anybody better to put on this committee. What I'd like to also do is, I know you're looking for a resolution. We can do that. We can get direction to the city manager to have it on there. And also, we need to make an appointment, and I would like to do, from the council, a liaison to the Recreation Commission. So we can also add that at the same time. So we have a representative from the council that works directly with the Recreation Commission to move things forward. So I'd like to also put that on the agenda for next meeting as well.
Well, everything's been said. You've been excited. I mean, thanks for applying, because it takes a lot. Basically, you're going to put in volunteer hours, but there's no way we can start it now, right? If we nominate them now. I mean, I've read the application. I actually personally know everyone. I've either ran into them or they've coached my kids, so I don't have a problem moving forward if the council can move forward, and that way you can start the meetings as soon as possible.
I do like that idea. Unfortunately, the municipal code does state that committee members shall be appointed by resolution of the city council. That's why the intent was, let's bring the applications forward, let's get them introduced to the council, and at the next time, if the council does provide direction, if the council sees the 7 applicants, like you mentioned, great group, let's move forward. We'd be putting it on consent for the next calendar just to do the formalities. But I know Jackie would already be working on setting more of an agenda and trying to work up on what are the items. I'm pretty sure she has a stack of this large of items that she wants to put. So staff will be working on getting the meeting together, but I think that we still do need a resolution, and we can do that at the next meeting.
When would the meetings be taking place?
By code, we have them the fourth Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock, and so the first meeting,
You can actually have your meeting
we
after.
have our meeting June 22nd if it passes on the next.
I guess I'm jumping the gun saying you will, so yeah, I'm okay with that. But congratulations and thanks for applying. And you said, Karina is actually moving, am I right?
Correct.
But Alex is here, right? Is that her name? Thank you.
All right, then we'll give direction to put it on all applicants, including Ms. Karen Cross, for our next agenda for a resolution to appoint them to the Recreation Committee, and also assign a liaison and a alternate.
Yes.
Alternate for our next, the scheduled June 20th council meeting.
Just to make sure, so then do I need to make a staff report for the alternate, or is that, or for the liaison, or is that?
Yeah, no, and we'll discuss that, and so unanimously, the council agrees, go ahead and move forward, have the resolution appointing the 7, and also discussing the alternate position.
And also, as a general direction, prepare your meetings, get ready for it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we'll go ahead and move on to announcements and reports. Oh, number 3. Okay, go back to awards, presentations, and proclamations. Item 3, it's representatives of the California Health Collaborative, Merced County Tobacco Control Program of the Youth Advisory Board will give a presentation on the effects of tobacco and their involvement in community events promoting tobacco-free activities, and will share what they have learned about the effects of tobacco on the environment.
Hello, everyone. We are some of the youth advisory board. Yeah. From California Health Collaborative, Merced County Tobacco Control Program. We're going to be talking about wiping out secondhand smoke. My name is Daniela Perez.
My name is Griselda Gonzalez. Secondhand smoke is the smoke from the burning end of the cigar pipe or cigarettes. The smoke that is exhaled by smokers.
My name is George Walker, and I'm talking about secondhand smoke facts. 2 different types of smoke come from burning tobacco. Side stream smoke, smoke from the lighted end of a cigarette, pipe, or cigar. Mainstream smoke is the smoke exhaled by a smoker. Side stream smoke has a higher effect on a person's health because it's more toxic than mainstream smoke. It has smaller particles than mainstream smoke, making it easier to go inside your lungs. These smaller particles make their way into the lungs and the body cells more easier than the mainstream smoke.
My name is Shwani Lata, and here are some more secondhand smoke facts. Secondhand smoke is harmful indoors and outdoors. And when people smoke, they throw their cigarette butts on the floor. And since they're made out of plastic, so they're not biodegradable, so they just stay there. And 34% of California litter is cigarette butts. And in the whole nation, cigarette butts are the most littered. The more secondhand smoke you breathe, the higher the level of these harmful chemicals get in your body.
Studies found that the amount of levels in outdoor areas are just as equal to areas where smoking is allowed. Some people think that, well, they're not smoking, so it's not going to hurt them, but the smoke of cigarettes can trigger asthma attacks, which makes it difficult to breathe.
Since these children tobacco litter also harms the children, not only the environment, because small children and even animals are risk of swallowing, choking, or burning themselves because they just pick it up when they see them on the floor because they've seen their adults or even teenagers just smoke them. So they think it's okay to pick it up and put it in their mouths. It also contaminates our water because they get into our streams, creeks, lakes, and rivers. And cigarette butts also cause many fires.
How do we wipe out secondhand smoke? Smoke-free policies that communities have state that tobacco use is not acceptable behavior for near kids. To avoid contact with secondhand smoke, a person would have to be 25 feet away or across the street from each other. Yet 25 feet is not far enough because the smoke travels into the air.
Smoke-free public parks, playgrounds, youth, and fields, and free public outdoor venues, farmers markets, fairs, parades, concerts, and any other events on public property.
Some available resources are sample laws and templates, fun educational activities, and media recognition.
If you have any questions about the information we just said, here are some ways to contact, and this is Jesus Ochoa.
All right, thank you. Are all of you from Livingston or from different areas? Where's
We're all from Merced.
from Merced area? Okay. I want to applaud you and commend you for coming forward and bringing us this useful information. To me, your leaders in our county and community, stepping forward and nothing against smokers, but I'm glad that you're taking the torch and leading the way to get people to be healthier and the effects of secondhand smoke does affect other people. So thank you very much. Do you have any?
First of all, like the mayor said, it's good to see young folks get involved. This is where it starts. You talk to your peers, your friends, and and you can spread the word. That's what it works. And also, you were on TV, so you'll be available to download the video later if you want to show that to your friends, put it on your Facebook. You're welcome to do that, of course. So you were on TV. The whole city saw you already. So just so you know, okay? You weren't just here. I didn't want to tell you that before. Somebody was going to get nervous, especially I know that's why we didn't say it in the beginning. But you can download the video if you need to, okay?
If you guys don't mind, we have, I'm here to talk about one more thing. It's all in the packets, but I'm going to read it from up here. On the first page, model tobacco free or smoke-free event policy. If you turn to the first tab, you are going to see a model of tobacco-free policy that prohibits tobacco use at events. The second tab is a model of a smoke-free event policy that prohibits smoking at events including fairs or just at the park, and smoking includes cigarettes, vapes, and etc. At the first tab, tobacco, where it says C, any substance containing tobacco leaf. So, as said, it could be cigarettes, vapes, hookah pens, chewing tobacco, any kind of tobacco. And on the second tab, where it also says C, smoking and to smoke, inhaling, exhaling, burning, or carrying any lighted substance containing tobacco leaf. And on a second packet, this is another sample policy. It has more details on why a policy may be written in a certain way. So it's basically explaining the policy and why smoke-free areas should be more common. And this last page, the far back, the third page, this is a sample of one of the most recent cities that have passed smoke-free policies. So it's not just like at parks, it's also, as you see, smoking regulations. It could be public restrooms, service lines, indoor and outdoor areas of sport arenas, restaurants, bars, just basically area that most people are in, and not everyone wants to inhale your smoke. So common areas and apartment buildings, any public park, public beaches, public gardens, and any open space. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'm going to open up for any public comment. All right, no public comment. Back to council for any further comments. All right. Thank you for your presentation. And is this something that you're looking for us to try and get something on our municipal codes, or is this just more information?
What we came here to talk about today is making more smoke-free communities, like more areas where people don't have to inhale your smoke. So that's what we are looking for today.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We've come a long way. Vice Mayor might remember this, but when I was in high school, we actually had I'm kind of dating our age, Vice Mayor. At the high school, there was an area designated for smoking. Looking back in the early 80s, and I can remember kids going to, that area to smoke, and now you would just kind of fathom it's what, or, you're allowed smoking on high school. So we've come a long way since that. Thank you very much again for your presentation. We're going to move on to announcements and reports. I don't see Supervisor Espinoza here.
His daughter's graduating today, so.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, congratulations to Supervisor and his daughter. We're going to move on to city staff announcements and reports.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council, and thank you, our city clerk, Tony, for helping out with our power. I don't have my power.
We need to check the scope of responsibilities on that one.
Since when do we have a new IT guy?
He was elected to fill other duties as assigned, so So real quick, I just want to quick presentation. Burgle Action Plan. We had 8 last month, and it's nice when we have single digits, but 3 cars involved in the vehicle, 3 cases involved the resident, and 2 involved the commercial establishment. Next page. As I mentioned, we had all our officers assigned to the schools during the Safe Passage to School Week, and our officers were very busy, and for the most part, we gave a lot of warnings out. But again, we reminded the motorists during that time the school is in session to drive safely and be cautious. I got several different pictures that I'm going to go through real quickly. Merced County Law Enforcement had their annual awards banquet, basically honoring the Officer of the Year for each department, and it was held in Merced, and our officer Coleman Taylor received that award, and it was a great evening. Our explorers, along with 3 other explorer posts, provided the basically assistance in serving food and cleaning up and things like that, and security and presence. As you noted, a couple of months ago, we had a very, very large operation, and that's kind of a page off the Merced Sun Star. Over 50 arrests, 50 simultaneous search warrants served throughout the Central Valley, involving SWAT teams from as far away as Washington, D.C. Over 140 guns were taken, 40 folks arrested and put in. And our officers, again, we had 10 officers that played a vital role in that, ensuring the safety and security at each location. Next page. Maps Outside Agency, we had a visit, and this was prior to our city manager coming, but they brought a group up from Fresno looking at how we're incorporated our youth into our programs in the MAPS program. We had a Mental Health Services Act outcome event, which is also held in Merced. One of the displays is actually present in the back that we presented for that event. It shows some highlights and some statistics on our program. I also included one of the books that we received from the White House when our kids from MAPS went up to the to Yosemite Park and met the president. So I have a book there in case somebody wants to enjoy some really neat pictures. Last month, Lieutenant and I attended the Law Enforcement Executive Development course. We had a chance to meet George Pyro, who is a supervising agent in charge out of the Miami office for the FBI. He actually went to the academy with Lieutenant Soria. He's actually provided a 4-hour presentation on, he was the investigator and the the gentleman in charge of interrogating Saddam Hussein for 7 months. And he provided a very informative, enlightening overview of his involvement in that strategic investigation. The Livingston High School had their sober grad recently, held at the high school. Our Law Enforcement Chiefs Association provided $1,000 for each high school that participated in that, and we were able to give away some great prizes. And I think one of the prizes was like a big screen TV. And so, next page, we were probably one of the hits for that evening. And so we gave away a lot of great gifts, and it was a fun time to play bingo. Again, after graduation, getting out the streets and trying to encourage them to be involved in something, some fun activities and not staying down in the streets. We had some officers attend the funeral for Deputy Jason Garner out in Stanislaus County, and representing the agency. It was just one of those times. It was always nice to be able to support your fellow law enforcement agencies when you lose an officer on duty, and it's always a difficult time, but it's something that I think it's something that we hold true and to our hearts to do things like that. Laguna Seca, our Explorer post went out to Laguna Seca again I think it was last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, and participated in directing traffic out there. One of the schools, Selma Herna, had a big barbecue. Some officers were involved in that, including our mounted officer in the next picture. Joe Cruz is the one who has the horse, and he was there. It was a Western-themed barbecue, and he was able to go out there. And we normally don't allow cowboy hats, but he was wearing a cowboy hat. And so that was a fun time for us to get involved in that. Boy Scouts America Awards Banquet. As you know, our post is very active in the Explorer post throughout the Central Valley, and they gave awards out. And one of our explorers, Wendy Kaur, who's in the center, she actually got Explorer of the Year for the entire region of San Joaquin Valley. So it was really nice to have her receive that award. And she just graduated from high school, and she's going off to college. And so we're going to miss her. For those of you aware, Father Fonseca had a very nice mass celebrating his 25 years here in Livingston, along with some other very poignant dates. I think it was 80 years that the local diocese separated from Monterey down to Fresno, and some other 100th anniversary for the miracle that occurred in Portugal. So that was really a neat honor to be involved in that. Lastly, I just want to kind of talk real quickly. During my last 2 months, I really had a great time, and I kind of joke about it, filling the seats, but it really opened my eyes to the work that's being done here in Livingston. We've got some great staff here, not only here at City Hall, but at Public Works. We've got a lot of folks doing some good work, and I want to thank them for all the hard work that they did. We were able to accomplish a few things. Got some furniture. We did a contract that was approved by council for the computer service agreement. We're in the process right now of replacing all the floors, not only in City Hall, but also here in the council chambers. Getting some quotes on that, bringing it to council. One of the things that we're looking at, if you go to our website, it talks about the history of Livingston. There's some really neat old photos here of the old hotel, of the Cressy train station. So I'm meeting with our museum curator tomorrow. We're going to try to get some of those pictures reproduced and get them nice and framed and put them here in council for our community to enjoy. Again, as I mentioned, we have a great staff here in Livingston. I'm just so proud that to have worked with them the last two months, and I learned a lot, not only in Public Works and Noe's department over there, but the staff here. Again, they just bent over backwards and filled the void where they needed to fill it. And that's one of the generators. Public Works and City Hall got some new generators. And lastly, I want to thank council for some recent purchases, but I actually have to go down to the car to get it. So if you want to give me 30 seconds, I'll be right back. I actually had one of the officers that was going to stick around and help me with this, but I think he probably got on a call because he was on duty. Anyways, don't be alarmed. I want to thank council for supporting us. We were able to purchase 6 AR rifles, and these are basically the more tactical rifle for our patrol fleet. It was 20 years ago, this last March, the Bank of America incident in LA happened. We had LAPD officers responding to a bank robbery where the suspect were heavily armed with body armor, and basically the officers were shooting them with pistols, and the bullets were just bouncing off them. And so, just real quickly, I want to thank council for this purchase. We were able to purchase 6 ARs to keep our community and our officers safe. And again, please don't be alarmed, but I want to show you what. This is a Colt AR semi-automatic weapon with a telescoping butt, and this is something that our officers will be handed for each patrol vehicle, and this is something that, again, is only used during tactical situations where you need a type of tool to not only keep the community safe, but keep the officers safe as well. And I want to thank council for the support in this purchase. Again, this is one of the things the officers really needed, and they appreciated the support from council. So thank you, and that ends my presentation unless you have any questions. And don't be afraid, since I'm holding a gun, you can ask whatever you want.
You're, on behalf of the council, you're welcome, Chief. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to protect our community. And I know when I was in law enforcement, I had to deploy an AR just for instances, and I was glad I was, happy to have it. And unfortunately, in this day and age with terrorists, and we see it on the news, we want to make sure that you guys have the tools to be safe and also to keep us safe. So glad that you guys have them.
Thank you.
Also, now that we're on different note, we're moving into kind of summer, getting more involved with community. Do you still have that barbecue trailer that you used to take out to the neighborhoods?
We do.
Maybe we can start that.
Yeah, that's called the neighborhood visits, and now that we are fully staffed, something we've been struggling with for many years, we're fully staffed. That'll be something that we schedule throughout the summer. The only thing is, I think one of the things too also is we were running into the drought. The fire department always does a great job joining us, and they spray water into the sky. And I don't know where we are with that drought, but maybe we can manage a few gallons out of the fire truck. And we'll see. We'll have to talk to Chief Baraka there.
We can always recycle the water.
You mean like bring soaps out and take a shower while it's going on?
Might as well.
Yeah, we can look into that, Chief. And hopefully you never have to use those ARs, but thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Web first.
I just wanted to make sure that all of you had the activities that we'll be doing during the summer. That way, if folks ask you, you'll be up to date as to what's going on. But our farmers market starts actually this Thursday, and so we invite you to all come out. Our theme is blueberries are the best, and we'll have lots of kids activities and entertainment. And we're still looking for farmers, so please pass the word. They've been very hard to come by. So if you have any connections, please have them call me. Also, something that's really neat that's going to be happening throughout the summer is summer meals for kids and teens, and they're having it in our parks as well as breakfast at our schools. So you have a flyer there if anybody, we have been posting it on Facebook. So you're welcome to get a hold of me or the school district, and we can give you all the days and times and locations. So we have a lot of new summer programs. If you guys are interested in learning how to Bhangra dance, we got a class that's going to be held for that, and karate, hip hop, cheerleading, ballet, jazz, a lot of neat things for the kids of our community. I did want to make sure that everybody knew, because I have been getting phone calls. The swimming pool is closed this summer. It is currently under construction, but just think about how awesome it's going to be next year. We'll be back on the swim team road and lessons and open swim. So other than that, movies in the park, all of the movies, dates and times are listed, and the community loves that. And we welcome you guys to come out and attend any of the events that we have. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Jackie.
Do you put the farmer's market in the Sunstar and the Modesto Beach, Jackie?
Yes, it's on the community calendar, and then we actually did it as a press release, so we're kind of at their mercy as to when they run it, but yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have to make a pit stop and get my agua fresca. I will do city manager.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council and residents. Quite a busy office. The first thing on the list here is that, first of all, I would love for you guys to keep our finance director in your prayers. He's going through some health challenges at this moment in time, Odie Ortiz. And so right now we're looking at hiring somebody temporarily to assist with, of course, our budget for next fiscal year. And we have some promising prospects, and we're going to be tackling that pretty quickly here. And then there's also a little bit of changes going on in our finance department. We had one of our great employees, Aaron Kurd, who actually took another position in Turlock, so he'll be moving along. So we're doing an internal recruitment to fill in his position, and then that opens up the office assistant, secretarial type position. So we'll be putting out that for folks that are interested in applying. In addition to that, just wanted to mention to our community that there's quite a bit of abandoned vehicles that have, broken windows, tires that are flat, etc. We want to educate the community and just let them know that they need to address those vehicles, and at least 1 or 2 times. Then after that, unfortunately, we're going to have to issue a citation. That also goes to the dry grass, and I know our fire department is working really diligently in addressing those, but if you guys can just kind of spread the word, let your neighbors know, we need to address those, because we want to make sure that we don't have any unfortunate incidents. So with that, Mayor, unless you guys have any questions, that's it.
All right, thank you, Jose. We'll go on to City Council member appointment announcements. Councilmember Aguilar.
Yeah, I just want to say I just finished baseball season. Was helping coach the minor boys baseball team. I just want to congratulate Jackie for a successful baseball softball season with the recreation department. Another thing, for transparency purposes, I do want to report when I first came to the council, I voiced the need for a replacement of our fire station. I know council was very supportive of that. I just want to report that during the trip to DC, Councilmember RuPaul and Mayor Soria, I did touch bases with the USDA. They did get back to us, and just to let the community know that it's in the process of the primary application work is going on right now. So I just wanted to report that.
Thank you, Councilman Regular. Councilmember Sicaros.
I'd like to make it real quick, but congratulations, welcome back, Jose. Thank you for coming back. As a matter of fact, want to commend Councilmember Aguilar for moving us on that recreation on it. Jackie, thank you for baseball. I mean, goes out to all the kudos and congratulations to the coaches. the volunteer time they put, their extra time that they don't have to put. So it's really, really something, and it's really appreciated on my behalf, and I believe everybody else. Chief, thanks for, I don't know if he's here, he left with the gun, so, or the R-15, he wanted to try it out, but just commend him on the Explorer Post and getting his awards. But again, thanks pretty much.
Vice Mayor Sama.
For me, just want everybody to know that summer is here. A lot of events going on. If you have good ideas, talk to Recreation. And if you, we have a lot of programs. Talk to your kids. Get involved. Have some fun. Let's keep them away from their little game consoles at home and out in the park and playing out there. It's better for them, better for all of us. In the old days, the punishment was that you send the kid to the room. Nowadays, the punishment is you send them outside. So we need to get them back outside and so get them involved in that way, because it makes it for healthier kids. So I'm really excited and always have supported recreation program, and I'm glad Councilmember Aguilar came up with the idea of the Recreation Commission. I think they'll do some good work. There's some needed work, and we need some guidance from the community. And then also, as far as the fire station, I'm really excited that I think we're moving forward. We all know that this is government, and sometimes it takes little things to get from A to Z, but at least we're on the starting path here, and I hope we can get this done fairly soon. It is much needed as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Again, on the fire station, Vice Mayor and I, we contacted USD, and lo and behold, they got a hold of us the next day. So apparently our presentation was piqued an interest in them, and two representatives came out, and we drove around, and Councilman Rella showed them a few locations where the fire station could serve the community. So we'll start that process and see where we go. Hopefully it's successful. That's what we're planning. Also trying to get another vehicle for our code enforcement officer, electrical vehicle, I propose. So we're in the process of doing that. And now that we have our city manager back, we have quite a bit of commercial areas that we'd like to assertively go after some businesses that come to Livingston and provide jobs and that our economy grow. We're moving up, and we're right up there with Merced and Atwater, and I think that we have a lot of potential to bring businesses here. So there's a lot of work to do, and thank you to all the departments for the hard work, and thank you whoever put the trees and the plants in the over off Joseph Gallo. That looks a lot better rather than the dry areas that were there. So thank you. Who had that? You did? Okay. Yeah, thank you. No, that was it looks a lot better, and it matches the surrounding businesses, and that's what we want to do. We want to enhance our city to make it look good and attract businesses to come to Livingston. And on the mosquito abatement, I attended a meeting. There was one reported West Nile virus case outside the rural Los Banos, and according to the report, you could probably go onto the website. There is 11 counties in the state of California that have reported some kind of West Nile virus. So summer's here, and especially with the rains, it's going to probably be challenging to try and keep the mosquitoes down. So make sure when you're outside, you spray what's it called, off, or keep yourself from getting bit from mosquitoes. And I don't have anything else.
Mr. Mayor, with all due apologies, I have one item that I forgot to bring up. Is it okay with you at this point?
Go ahead.
Thank you. What I wanted to do was talk to our fellow council members, and is something that we had talked about, but we need, now that we have a city manager in, is we're getting ready to be working on our city budget as well. We also, at the same time, need to set up our goal setting workshop to where we can give some sort of, unified direction from, where we can invite the planning commission or the recreation commission. They can be involved in helping us chart our, what we need to do, for next year, 3 years, and 5-year plan, so we need to go ahead and give some direction. So with Jose and through the mayor, of course, if we can kind of work out with different folks to, and of course, we have to have department heads is there, so we can get something set up. I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, did you have a certain date in mind, or you want to just?
No, I'm leaving it to the city manager to get with everybody, coordinate, bring back to the council, and get some possible dates for different, planning commission, recreations. We want to invite them, and they should be there, and staff, so we can kind of like set dates for them,
Yeah, that sounds good. Good idea. Thank you. Also, I'm kind of shooting for Saturday, June 24th for coffee with the mayor. We'll be here at the city council chambers. So that's kind of the date I'm shooting for. If anything changes, I'll bring it up at the next council, but that's kind of the date I'm looking at. So then that, we'll go and move on. Public hearing. Item 4, resolution approving site plan and design review 2017-01 for a sales office for the auto sales business at 2235 S Street, Livingston, California. APN assessor's parcel number 023-080-002.
Okay, we've got two site plan and design reviews that are forwarded to you from the last planning commission meeting. The first one is for a new sales office for Lupita's Auto Sales, which is located on F Street. Here is map of the area. Small facility is located right on that corner of Avenue and F Street. At the bottom, you get a little lip there. Okay, maybe just not holding it close enough. Just as an aside, we need a better way to do staff presentations. Because up there I can't work this, down here it has its problems. But anyway, so what we have here is a request to develop a...
Is there somebody that can run the slides for him so we can get, I think our fire department is going to come and help you, Randy. So go ahead and get up to the dais.
Okay,
To the,
that'll work.
please. Where's Tony? We trained him, and where'd he go? Jose? Oh, where'd he go? Can we get a clicker for that thing? I mean, there's no reason why they can't just click from there, you know? All we need is a clicker.
Okay, thanks for bearing with me here while we have technical challenges. The item in question, again, we're right at the corner of F and Hammett. This lot is an existing site for the Lupita's Auto Sales. There is a small sales office existing. The proposal is to remove that, approximately 400 square feet in size, replace it with a larger facility, 700 square feet in size. And it comes before you because a site plan design review is required by our code. What is being proposed, we've got the elevation indicated, and it's quite a handsome looking facility. It has, it's 15 feet at its highest part on the parapet, right up here. And then the balance of the rest of the building is 13 feet in height. It's primarily composed of stucco exterior, but it does have a dark brown around the entrances and the front windows, and it's beige for the remainder of the building. There's a stacked stone on columns on either side of the main entrance and on the edge of the building itself. And you can see that on the side views, that column wraps around. The site is provided with some new parking. Given its size, the code requires 3 parking spaces, and 3 are provided, one of which will be handicapped. The facility meets the zoning requirements and is consistent with our general plan designation and all the other requirements. It went to the Planning Commission for their review at the May 9th meeting. And at that time, the Planning Commission recommended 2 additional considerations, and they're included in the associated conditions of approval with the proposed resolution. And those were that the no vehicles for sale would be parked on the adjoining street. Everything would be on site, and that there would be no vehicle maintenance done on site. And so with those 2 conditions, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended to you to approve the site plan and design review. And the conditions and all the required documentation for environmental is included in the resolution. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Thank you, Randy. Any questions, Tom? We're going to open up for public comment at 8:40. Okay, no public comment. Bring it back to council for...
Yeah, I don't have any, I think it's a great idea. It helps them get more sales and good, you know. So I'll make the motion that we adopt that resolution approving the site plan and design review of 2017-01 for sales office for the auto sales business at 2235 Street, APN number 030-080-002.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Can I get roll call?
Okay, roll call. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra?
Yes.
Mayor Soria?
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote 4-0.
Okay, next we'll move on to item 5, the resolutions approving site plan and design review for 2017-02 for the construction of two new 2460 square foot duplex units on two adjacent existing 7,075 square feet lots, zoned R2, located on 7th Street, Livingston, California.
Okay, this one, and we'll go to the next slide if we can, and it shows the location. This is located on F Street, two adjacent lots. It is
If you, right next to the, where it says the percentage, you can click on that, it'll be a single screen. Go down. Go down. Right there. No, to the left, to the right. One more. One more. Right there. Click on that. There you go.
perfect.
I see that.
Okay, and so this is two R2 zoned lots side by side, and the proposal is to construct two duplexes, which are both the same design, 2,460 square feet in size, and the properties are on the west side, as you can see, of 7th Street between E and F. An alley runs behind, and it provides access to the second duplex. And as you'll see as we go to the next slide, that here is 7th Street. This is one duplex with its associated two off-street parking, and then the other unit is abutting, but it's oriented toward the alley with its two off-street parking, a open area. And we go to the next slide, we can see the designs. And the duplexes are single stories with a tan stucco exterior with white trim and a decorative band on each unit's front elevation. There is a decorative gable vent on each front elevation, as you can see. And the units are adjacent to each other, and they're mirror images of each other, which has the open areas facing each other for enhanced open space. This item went to the Planning Commission at their meeting of May 9th as well. Now, these proposals are consistent with the general plan for medium density. They're consistent with the R2 zoning that they're located. They simply require the site plan development design review to come before you, which it's doing so as now. The applicant is in the audience here, available for questions if needed. And there were real no issues or questions at the Planning Commission, and it was approved to you with a recommendation that you approve it. All the conditions associated with this project are attached as part of the resolution of approval, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Thank you. Any questions, Council? Go and open up for public comment, page 45. Okay, we'll close it at 8:45 and bring it back to council. Any comments, motions?
No, I just think it's a great idea. Another vacant lot being filled. Anybody else have anything? Yeah. Want to make the motion to adopt a resolution approving site plan and design review 2017-02 for the construction of two new 2460 square feet duplex units on two adjacent existing 7,075 square feet lots, zoned R2, located on 7th Street.
Just for clarification purposes, there are two resolutions, and they're almost identical except for one resolution for each property. So, if the motion is clarified for
approve both, or you may wish to take them one at a time.
Yeah, adopt both of them.
I'll second on both resolutions.
Okay, we have a first by council member on both resolutions and a second by council member Picado. Roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Siqueiros?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra?
Yes.
Mayor Soria?
Yes.
Resolution passed by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state open meeting laws, no action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. The citizen comments open at 8:47.
Excuse me, Mayor, I forgot to mention a couple of things earlier, and I'd like to do it now, if it's okay. So 2 things. Basically, the San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission has published its draft environmental impact report for the ACE train. Exciting project. Hopefully we get ACE train down here with a stop here in Livingston. And it's going to basically end up from San Jose down to Merced. And so folks that commute to the Bay Area, it'd be a great opportunity to take a nice leisurely ride to the Bay Area. So anyways, the commission actually published some dates. There's a 60-day window to view the impact report and come with comments. And they have informational dates. And I'd like to let the public know the ones that are closest to us is in Merced on June 27th at the Sam Pipes Room, which is on 18th Street in Merced, and it doesn't exactly show what time the meetings are. There is a website on aceforward.com. You can get the complete report at that website, or go to any of the county libraries and get a copy of that report. And I'm not sure if you know the times.
Yes, it's going to be between 5:30 and 8:30 in Merced, which is the same day as the city county dinner. So folks can get there at 5:30, be there for 30 minutes
Oh, great.
or so, and then
Okay.
yes, the public can access those documents here at the public library in Livingston.
If you can't make the 27th, in Modesto on June 28th, it's going to be at the Modesto Center Plaza Pistachio Room, 1000 L Street. And if you can't make that date, there's one in Tracy on June 29th, City of Tracy Council Chambers on Civic Center Plaza, and I'm assuming it's the same time. So if anybody wants to do that, maybe make some comments on that. But again, it's an exciting project. So we go from Cressy train station here in 1871 to Ace Train here in 2017. And secondly, Adam Gray had published some invitations to our residents here. He will be in Livingston here, similar to what the mayor hosted, Coffee with Adam. And so that will take place on Thursday, June 8th, 2 days from today, from 2 p.m. at the Foster Farms Cafe. And so you get a chance to sit down with one of our congressmen and have a cup of coffee and talk about issues. So other than that, thank you, Chief.
You forgot to state your address.
My address? It's 1446 C Street, the police department. Thank you.
Citizen comment. Oh, and that should probably be iced tea, probably not coffee, since we got 100 degrees that day.
Iced tea rather than coffee? Oh, that's true. Yeah. Have some iced coffee. Iced coffee.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
I thank you, Chief. We'll go ahead and open up for public comment.
Catherine Shell Rodriguez, P.O. Box 163, Livingston. Yeah, I know this is the citizens' comment portion, but rather than interrupting you again when it comes to consent agenda, I just thought I'd go ahead and speak on this now. I was wondering if you could be so kind as when you get to consent agenda to pull item number 7, receive and accept the 2016 Annual General Plan and Housing Element Progress Report. Pull that as a separate item so that we could have a brief discussion on what the housing element is, why we're having the progress report, how we are meeting our goals, and the plan to do a general plan update.
Thank you. And any other comment? We'll go ahead and move to the consent agenda. And we have item 6, waive the second reading and adopt ordinance number 630, the City Council of the City of Livingston amending Title 8, house implementation to add Chapter 9, camping and storage of personal property to the municipal code. And move on to item 8, approval of warrant register dated June 2nd, 2017, at the request of citizen comments. We will pull 7 and open it up for discussion. Wait, yeah, we'll go on 6 and 8, and we'll pull 7 for discussion. So I'd have a motion to approve 6 and 8.
We will make a motion to approve items 6 and 8.
I go first and second. The roll call.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Kairos?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sedema?
Yes.
Mayor Flores?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote 4-0.
We'll to item 7, and that's the 2016 Annual General Plan and Housing Element Progress Report.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is before you because cities are required by California law, the particular regulatory section, to annually report on progress implementing their general plan and to specifically comment on progress in implementing their housing element to the general plan. And the State Department of Housing and Community Development has various suggested forms for the housing portion of the report. And so pursuant to that law, I've prepared a annual report that covers calendar year 2016, basically indicating the status of our general plan, which is the 1999 general plan, and that you might recall in 2016 we did make a few amendments and wording changes to the general plan as part of the process leading up to adopting the housing element. And so I made note of that in the report. And the big news, big action in 2016 was the adoption of the housing element and committing it to the State Department of Housing and Community Development, and then finding housing. And during that calendar year also, we staff received interest from several other home builders for 2 other unfinished subdivisions. And I think you may be aware that the La Sierra subdivision is under construction right now with their model home. And so as part of that process, they submitted plans to me, and I reviewed those plans, compared them with what the city had approved many years ago as part of the original approval of that subdivision. And I determined that the plans that were before the city now were substantially consistent with what was approved by the city before, and so they could proceed directly to submitting building plans to our planning department. And so they've done that. Another smaller infill project, fewer lots, but the mansionettes located around the park, they also are interested in building. They submitted some plans. I reviewed those plans. Again, they use the same design elements and in the same pieces, so they're consistent. They have plans in the plan set right now, so they can begin building and start construction. So I reported that progress in the health report. And also in using the forms for the housing and community development, I indicated that we have 34 building permits that were issued for single-family homes, and then I had indicated that it asked for a running path of building permits that have been issued, and so it's very modest. We start with the calendar year 2014, that's the cycle for the housing element progress report. There were actually no building permits issued for dwellings in 2014. 10 were issued in 2015. Those were primarily infill lots, not part of the subdivision. And then the 34 last year as part of the subdivision. And so I've documented that. And then basically that's kind of where we are currently. And so that constitutes our report. And I did look every single implementation measure that is in the housing element and what, if anything, was accomplished in 2016 and what is still ongoing. Since the element was adopted in 2016, very little was accomplished in the half a year that we had since its adoption. In fact, it was less than half a year. So that's what the report documents. It goes to the state. It would then be consistent with the requirements of state law of our community, and it keeps us a running tab on what's happening with our housing element and our general plan. And at this point, I'll look for any questions and go back and respond to questions.
Just to dovetail into Jeremy's comments, because I know she alluded to the general plan, we are looking at updating our general plan. It'll take at least a couple of years to do that. So we're going to be budgeting somewhere between $5,000 to $600,000 over the course of 2 years. And a portion of the general plan is reimbursed through different dollars. We're looking forward to building this so that it's something more consistent and we can start talking about it.
But it's important to add that there is not a timeline on the general plan. There is no requirement that a city updates the general plan on a certain specific schedule. Different than a housing element. Housing element does have a specific schedule, and we comply with that. But a housing element is only part of the general plan. The balance of the general plan depends on the city's finances and the city's needs. And so the city is taking that into account and is planning for the future to do that update. It's a big deal. And so you have to just
Thank you, Randy. To council, any questions?
Based on the information given, I make the motion to adopt the
We're going to open up for public comment. Bring it back to council. Go ahead and
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent item number 7.
I second it. First by Vice Mayor and second by Councilmember Aguilar. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Aguilar.
Yes.
Councilmember Tavares.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beckman.
Yes.
Mayor Soria. Yes. Motion passed by a vote of yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 9. Resolution approving a 3-year professional service agreement for municipal code enforcement services and authorizing the city manager to execute agreement with selected firm.
Mayor, members of the council, an RFP was put out for a community development block grant, and the city was awarded $1.7 million in that grant. $139,535 was allocated for code enforcement services to the city of Livingston. These are specific block areas, so it's not the entire city, but of those funds, they're able to employ one code enforcement officer part-time for an area basically around the campus park block area, and then other areas north of 99, most of the residential areas. And I think there's a copy of the map of that in your packets. We had we submitted an RFP out. We had two responses, 2 proposals, one from CSG Consultants Inc. and then another from Forley Consultants. And both proposals were reviewed, and I personally interviewed some of the staff that was involved in putting this proposal together, and the folks that would be on the front lines doing the code enforcement. It is in essence a 3-year grant. However, the months that are available are only roughly 27 months of that grant. So roughly a little over 5,000 can be allocated each month for a code enforcement officer for our city of Livingston to go out there and enforce code violations such as weeds and uncamped residences and a variety of building violations, those type of things. And so I've invited both companies here. You have before you the staff report, which indicates kind of a summary what I did, and I actually like to invite a representative from both companies to come up there and maybe do a quick short presentation, and allow you guys to hear a little bit about what they do. But code enforcement specific to Livingston, we've never had a full-time code enforcement officer in the city of Livingston, and we had one part-time probably 15, 20 years ago. More recently, we had a collateral duty assigned to the building inspector in a very, very short period of time. And so we've never been consistent in that area. It is something that's badly needed here in Livingston in those areas. One of the things that came about is where will this person work out of? And we had different proposals, some of the backgrounds that I did. Some agencies, some departments, cities had the code enforcement officer working at a city hall. Some working at a police department. And so my preference and my suggestion would be to have that person alongside the building inspector, and when calls come in for complaints and violations, they come to City Hall staff and be able to fill out the form and then go straight to him or her, and then they're able to resolve those issues and enforce those code violations. So before I begin, if the council may have any questions, I'd like to invite each company up for a quick short further presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come in tonight to explain to you a little bit about what we do. I'm Bob Cushman. I'm the code enforcement manager for CSC Consultants. We're located in Foster City. We're a company of about 250 individuals, and we primarily work throughout the state of California. Specific to code enforcement, we actually have an operation going right now
code office in Newman. We always have to be fairly close to the valley operation. The proposal that we put forward is somewhat limited due to the budget, but we equate the size of this city with several other cities in our group that we manage, and we believe that somewhere between 8 and 16 hours a week per quarter we should be able to handle the duties that we have within the specific community development block grant area, and not sort of full-time again into that district. With that, I'd like to introduce the senior code enforcement officer who we would be working with over here. His name is Matt Mack. Have him say a couple of things in a moment. Matt has been with our company over 5 years and has managed many projects throughout Northern California. He's managed 2 seniors that we have. He's our main management team. Next to him, I think the tax clerk, Bruce Parker, is a new employee that we hired. She's not a candidate right now, so we substituted
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, my name is Lisa Ochoa. I worked for the city of San Jose for 30 years. I retired from Puerto Rico with 27 years experience. I volunteered for this assignment when I heard it was available because I am very interested in working in a proactive type of program. I have a lot of experience in working in what we call the Strong Neighborhood Initiative or Project Crackdown, which was a proactive program we went into CBDG areas, qualified areas. We work with the communities to develop homeowners associations and get the communities involved in cleaning up their neighborhoods. We would hold community days where we have barbecues and bring out organizations that can help the communities. And as far as my experience, that I have well over probably 15 years experience of proactive programs in these types of different communities. City of San Jose. When I retired in 2014, I took a break for about 2 months, and then I went to work for CSG, and since then have worked in a variety of different cities throughout the Bay Area. And again, I'm actually interested in relocating to the Central Valley with my family, and so I volunteered for this opportunity to come and put community this.
Doing a second proposition forward from Livingston to this.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Joe Nicholas. I'm a project manager for Porters. I manage currently the building department staff. The city has a building inspector and a permit technician. Our firm, coincidentally, has about the same number as CSG, 250 people. You see the little handout, it gives you a little rest of services that our company offers. We're a pretty diverse company. We work from West Coast to East Coast. Currently working on a big project in Everett, Massachusetts, hotel casino, so people already know the project. So I'm pretty excited about being here and hopefully to expand our services. I have over almost 30 years of experience now, so my first part of my career I designed buildings, structural design of buildings, and now I'm on the code compliance side. I manage a group of people that work for cities and counties such as yours. So I like to say we're a local firm because I live out of my car pretty much. I go up and down the coast, I-5 and 99 corridor because our clients span both north and south. So our parent company is in Pleasanton, and I work out of our Sacramento office. And I'm sitting there looking. Our motto is we work with you, not through you, and coincidentally, this is the last stop for staff referral. Anyway, so who is Forley and why use Forley? Well, we have inspectors that are local. Tim Nakashima, who could not make it today, he had another engagement, so he would be the person that would be here in Livingston. I did bring our senior code enforcement officer, Chris Wilson, alongside of me, and we've got a couple of others just like Chris. And I'll let Chris tell you a little bit about himself down the road. But we have a deep code enforcement bench. We provide these services for other jurisdictions, and I noticed in the staff report that Chief Status is I'm pretty busy last week, and I kind of nudged them a little bit to give you a call. So hopefully they've done that. Not sure. So why Forley? Forley because we actually are in the building department right now. And code enforcement duties all hand in hand, work alongside of the
inspectors, and so we have one here already. We have a permit tech here already, so it would be fairly seamless. We have experience working in the city for the last 2 years, and I think it would be a great move on the city's part. Another thing is that our fee is our hourly rate for a code enforcement officer is 15% less than our competitors. So if you're looking for bang for your buck, I look at it as we would be providing you 3 more weeks annually of service if you chose us, because our rate is $75 an hour versus $87.50 for PXP. So you want to be fiscally responsible, and if we're great choice. I don't think, me myself, I've designed buildings for almost 20, 30 years, and I look and I say, this isn't rocket science, and what I designed buildings, it wasn't rocket science, and I think code enforcement is not either. I mean, you get good qualified people. We have 3, 4, I think our industry has riddled with good quality people. With that, I wanted to have Chris come up and say a few words. Chris has over 15 years of code enforcement experience. Chris, like another gentleman, I gave a few other resumes of Rusty Hughes and Chris Wilson. They're both our senior guys. Rest assured that whoever we place here will be under the tutelage of our senior guys. So, anyway, with that, I'll give it closing, one of the things that is important to me and for League in general is that code enforcement's not an easy job. You're having to break some bad news to individuals that aren't expecting it, and so you have to really, not only is it, I kind of look at your personality as sometimes being more important than your technical knowledge, because if you can't present, an issue and a situation to your constituents in a manner that's going to be acceptable to them, then really it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of technical knowledge and the violations that they're performing. I think that's one of the things that I impress upon our group is that you have to be able to share with the constituents the bad news, but also present it in a way that they're acceptable. And that's one of the things you'll get from our company is somebody that will do it. Thank you.
Any questions, Council? I will go open it for public comment. 9:24. No public comments. I'll bring it back for any questions. I did actually have a question. Before we included mileage for contracted code enforcement officers. Is that mileage to, how do you keep track of it and how do we get billed? Is that on the officer gets here and as soon as he or she goes out, mileage is tracked, or how does that work?
Yeah, so typically what we do as far as that's concerned is while the employee does work here, once he starts his calls, and it begins at that point, we have a daily log that we require all our officers and inspectors to produce so that we provide as frequently as you would like, daily, weekly, monthly, a log of our mileage that we travel during our efforts of work.
And pertaining to citation, administrative fees, if you provide needed for a hearing, would an officer be available for any type of hearing or administrative hearing that someone would want to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I heard a lot about buildings. If we have a building inspector, kind of looking at code enforcement and enhancing our city, and we have some areas with blight, with weeds, trash. That's kind of some of the focuses that I'd like to see our code enforcement officer here to focus on. And bring our city, up to beautifying it. Not that it's not beautiful now, but there are some areas that need some TLC.
Well, we have our building inspector currently here has tried to perform some of the responsibilities and duties of a code enforcement officer, but he's not, it's not his bailiwick, so to speak. So, all our code enforcement officers that we have in the additional resumes that I provided are all not only well-versed in code enforcement, but also are ICC certified building inspectors, so they could, in times of, get busy, because I know we're all getting there, our guys could be efficient and, walk on the other side of the room and provide building inspection services as well.
Any other questions?
Does the CSC
provide all the mileage and support for our staff. Through the company cars, we provide mileage to the ones who are driving their personal cars. We don't charge that mileage back to the organizations and cities that we work for. Other things inclusive, we oftentimes will have a senior or a code enforcement officer here on the same day. Typically, the way we do it in Los Angeles is we charge only for one of those. That's that budget salaries that way. So even though our rate is slightly higher, we pay our employees because we're located in a good area quite a bit more than they pay in the valley. They come for the long run for our car, the laptop. We have IT support from our own IT staff at CSC. Our staff here would need help in integrating the systems we currently use on a day-to-day with the basics in security basics in California right now. So there's no extra cost. We just that 8750 rate
So you're saying you're not charging mileage? Everything's inclusive in that 80.
We're not charging.
I just want to know like specifics. Okay, so how many hours per week did you have code enforcement officer here?
Well, the way we designed it was on an average 8 hours per week. Stay within budget. But typically what we'll do is we'll load that up a little bit in the first couple of weeks. So we may have the code enforcement officer sitting here at the same time as Lamont said. He specializes in cutting in his work on a lot of CDBG projects. I work for some of our youth and everything in general come into a pretty good size, pretty good manual. And once we do that, the problem is visually identify information really recommending letting on data like CDBG company or something like that. Like CDC, got cars, police to some degree, I don't know if we have that getting on town or something. So we use regular conduct. So anything, a lot of cities call it CDBG under the system. That's what we do. We ran numerous back in the 1990s, 2000 or so. Most of our interactions probably the area, typical area in San Jose, it's really see something inside the room. So we're about half hour in. We have a full staff, including building inspectors. We are the building department for the city of Newman. One of our regional managers, Mr. Jenkins, runs that office. Her husband, Mike Jenkins, is a building inspector. If you need any backup in that particular area, we could deal with that. Staff at work to do that. We have very good support from our Los Angeles program that charges that work for Los Angeles PD and one of our code enforcement officers both in uniform, both available. They often will move from one city to another to meet with other officials and stuff. So using the background checks, police background checks that we did and found out that Los Angeles was working on quite a lot. They will be starting the next several years. But I did call all the cities just in reference and they did call back and CSP did have some really high marks. I did not get any calls back poorly. However, I did get some call back today. I believe it was San Mateo, and then another call back on Friday afternoon from Saturday. One question I had maybe for Mr. Nicholas.
was it was either Governor or Senator Taylor talked about having to ask for one of the code enforcement officers to be replaced with another one. I'm not sure if you think that's how it works. I don't know if it's how it works, but
There's actually a project manager in the area that works on those two contracts. And a couple other positions there. That also the city, locally, city of Collinsville, standing for full service San Benito County. Fairly close by. And then the other thing that asked about was the hours a week based on we took $62,016 for the engineering of the annual fee that we would get and divided it by our hourly rate and we charge for the code enforcement officers at 1.9 days, 1.9 days a week. What the budget would allow.
I have a question. On my list, what is it? What's the rate per month?
It's and the city, I mean, driving around the city is fairly minimal. I wouldn't imagine that we would be charging very much at all for that benefit.
I have a couple more questions I've been code enforcement for about 5 years, and I was interested in the community and cities that I've worked with different and real big on officer safety, so I want to know if any of the cities that you work with, you have access to threats to run license plates. How will you work at getting information with the assessor's office? Do you make phone calls? Do you get on the website? And also how will, not fairly new, we haven't had code enforcement in a bit, but I want to see how you will start the progress from the ground up. How will you reach out to that community to let them know you are here, and once you receive a complaint, how will you case number it? How will you show what work was done and how was it completed, and how we were able to get compliance?